Welcome back again, Game Yard family. Thank you for joining us for another video. You know, this is your home of West Indies cricket analysis. And now we will be looking on the second day's play of the first test between West Indies and New Zealand. And Jacob Duffy's superb maiden test 5-wicket haul, swung the momentum in the New Zealand's favour on day 2 in Christchurch, as West Indies were bundled out for 167 in reply to the host 231 all out. And despite dropped chances and wasted opportunities in the field, New Zealand ended the day well on top and 32 without loss, extended their lead to 96 runs heading into the third day. The day started with West Indies needing only 1 wicket, and as I would have said, leading up to day 2, we need to get that wicket early. And Jaden Seals did just that. It took only 3 deliveries for Jaden Seals to wrap up the New Zealand innings, getting the wicket of Zach Foakes. But that joy was very brief, as Zach Foakes struck early with the new ball, removing John Campbell, and Matt Henry bowled Alec Athanaze comprehensively, as the West Indies crawled to 10 for 2 after 12 overs. In the middle session of the day, Tagenarine, Chanderpaul and Shai Hope, they got together, needing to rebuild the West Indies innings, and they did just that with a gritty 90-run partnership. Hope and Tagenarine, Chanderpaul, I think, batted really well. Shai Hope batting in a sunglass, having, picked up an eye infection, right? And even though the West Indies had multiple chances, I think Chanderpaul was dropped 2 times down the leg slip by, Devon Conway. But they fought on, and I think they kind of steadied the ship for the West Indies in that, middle session. And both batters got half centuries. But after post-lunch session, Jacob Duffy went for a short ball, ploy against Shai Hope, especially. And that would have reaped dividend for the New Zealanders. He had, Shai Hope caught down the leg. The ball just hit the gloves down the leg, and Tom Latham took the catch. It was reviewed, but it was, DRS showed that it actually hit the glove. And from there on, the West Indies started to slide. Chanderpaul gritty innings came to an end when he was caught at square leg by Devon Conway. It was a really good catch. He went with his 2 hand, to the left, and the ball stuck in his left hand. And after Chanderpaul went, we did not have much resistance after that. We were eventually skittled out for 167. Jacob Duffy was superb in cleaning up the tail, right? He eventually, got his maiden 5-wicket haul, in Test cricket. And so New Zealand, having skittled out West Indies for 167, they had, a small lead of 64, heading into bat, and they eventually finished the day on 32 without loss, with a 96-run lead overall. And in my estimation, I think, New Zealand, they would have won, day 2. And currently they are on top in this test match. In terms of batting, performance on the day, Shai Hope got, 50. He was steady, he was composed. The pitch was very difficult to bat on. The ball was nipping around all day, so he and Tagenarine had to negotiate, those deliveries on that wicket, and I think they did really well for the West Indies. I was hoping that our middle order could come capitalize on that recovery work that Shai, Hope and Tagenarine Chanderpaul would have done, but our middle order collapsed, and that just put our innings, West Indies, back on the back foot, and then New Zealand just went for the kill, with the tail enders. Jacob Duffy got 4 wickets down there, just ripped apart the lower order, and gain, control of the game. So as I said, Shai Hope would have made an half century. Tagenarine Chanderpaul also made a patient, gritty half century. He lived dangerously early, with 2 drop catches, but he anchored the innings. And I think, in my estimation, I think Tagenarine Chanderpaul, batted for us the best on this wicket. He looked comfortable out there, even though the ball was nipping around. He leave the ball when it need to be leaved, and he get behind the ball, to play the ball. He doesn't hang his bat outside the half stump. He knows where his half stump is, and I think he looked really good out there, and I think it was a really good catch that dismiss him eventually. In terms of bowling highlights, as I said, Jacob Duffy was really good, especially to our tail enders. He was ruthless, and I think one thing he went for that really changed the game was that short ball ploy against Shai Hope. I mean, he was intelligent. He used the short ball very well. He had immaculate control after the rain delay, and he wrapped up the tail with ruthless precision. Matt Henry, on the other hand, he got 3 wickets. He helped Jacob Duffy in the bowling department, exploited the seam movement, 2 wickets in 1 over after lunch, and that just swung the momentum in New Zealand's favor. And also Zach Folks, he got the early breakthrough with put the West Indies batting order under immense pressure early on day 2. In terms of tactical analysis, New Zealand short ball adjustment, I think that was superb, because when the sun came out, I think the ball wasn't nipping around so much, so they had to do something else in order to get back in the game. Because at this point, I think West Indies, with Chanderpaul and Shai Hope batting the way that they were batting, I think we were in total control at that point, right? But New Zealand went for the short ball adjustment, and Duffy shifted to that sustained short pitch bowling against Shai Hope in particular. And that was the key moment of the game for me. That plan was executed, perfectly, with the field set aggressively, right? And I mean, there was a bit of, fielding lapses, and with New Zealand, dropping 4 catches, 3 off, Matt Henry, but the Seamers, they maintained their discipline, and West Indies could not capitalize on that. So that's one thing that the West Indies will need to look at going into the second innings. Another thing that West Indies may need to look at, I know it was very difficult to score runs out there, but we could have shown a little bit more intent on scoring. We were batting really slow. The rate of scoring was really slow. So once we keep wicket, we want to keep that scoreboard pressure on the New Zealanders. It's not about just surviving, right? Once the partnership was broken, there was not much, runs on the board, right? And our middle order batters did not capitalize on that 90-run partnership made by Chanderpaul and Hope, and I think we fell apart once Hope was dismissed. And with the spin only period, there was a period when New Zealand could not have used any fast bowlers because the lighting was really bad. I mean, during that time, West Indies gained a little bit of relief, and they were able to score a few runs during that period. But after the rain came, and the light, get back better, the New Zealanders were able to, put on their seamers back onto the attack and to, put more pressure on the West Indies team. In terms of momentum and the match situation, New Zealand completely reversed the trajectory of the match, on day 2. Their 96-run lead with all wickets in, and that just put them in a commanding position. West Indies now face the prospect of chasing a 4th innings target on Hagley Oval. Historically, very difficult, and we would have seen that in the 2 innings so far on this wicket. Unless they can strike early on day 3 and restrict New Zealand on day 3, it will be a tough task batting, on that wicket. What to expect on day 3? Looking forward, I'm just forward looking on day 3. What both teams will need to do. The forecast for day 3 will be, it suggests more cloud covering. So that will be ideal for the seamers. So I just hope that West Indies can exploit, that condition. New Zealand likely to, push on that lead to about 250 to 300. And that would put immense pressure on the West Indies. Expect patience from the New Zealand openers and target shot making, once the conditions settle. For the West Indies, they will need to strike early. And they have to make use of the new ball and with the overhead conditions. Roach, Seals, Lane, and also Shields, they will have to be relentless in their line and length. They have to be on the money, right? We cannot be bowling giving the batsmen a lot of width. We can't be bowling short so that they can pull us. We have to keep that line and length at the 5 to 7 meter length, right? And we have to be relentless in our attack, right? We have to set aggressive field. We have to take wickets, right, in order to restrict the New Zealanders on day 3. And we have to try to get even 2 early wickets in the first session, right, in order to kind of, peg back, the New Zealanders. So that's what I'm thinking, going into day 3, early wickets for the West Indies. If we allow the New Zealanders openers to settle, I think this will be, not very good for the West Indies. So in closing, day 2 belongs, emphatically to New Zealand, with Jacob Duffy getting his maiden 5-wicket haul. Matt Henry also chipped in to support him with 3 wickets. And it was just disciplined seam bowling. Poor fielding, though, by the New Zealanders. And with, that growing lead and with wickets in New Zealand, hold complete control of this game going into day 3. While West Indies, after such promising day 1, must find answers quickly to stay competitive. This is where I will leave it for now. Thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to hit that subscribe button. Please remember to like the video and share your thoughts down in the comment section. Tell us, your thoughts on day 2 and what it is that West Indies will need to do on day 3 to gain back some control of this game. Thank you so much for joining. Please remember to share the video with your friends and families as well. Have a great day.